Yud Aleph. We're starting from Kuf Yud Amud Beis from the Mishnah. This my father, Rav Shalom Dei Beber, Rav Chaim Yitzchak Zal. My mother Sarah Espas Blum Alei Alerchus Shem Shem Tevis, Schus Rabbi Shein, Rabbi Greisman, and Baruch Raxon, and Shnei Zalman Sarah Esther, Chana Bas Fez Rivka, and should do good shidduchim, and everybody should be healthy and matzliach. We're not sure. Tala brachas min Aleph is tov, v'tuv hanira v'anigla. Okay, the Mishnah. Makabel sadam chaveirei. Somebody who takes a field from his family, meaning that he leases it, he rents it out l'shavua echad for a tkufa of 7 years. B'sheva meyos zuz for 700 zuz. Okay, then shviyis min aminyan. Hashviyis min aminyan. The shviyis, the shnas hashmita, is part of the $700. Even though 1 year, that's shviyis year, really he cannot work. Right? He can. Right? He's not getting any produce. But that's the deal. He didn't specify 7 years of work. That he said I'm doing. He said I'm leasing it for 1 unit of 7 years. 1 unit. He didn't make he didn't say specifically it should be 7 years of work. Anyway, but kibla ayimenu sheveshana. But what's if now from the mashmaisa of the lashon was that he made it clear that he's renting it or leasing it for 7 years of work, b'shva mei zuz for 700 zuz, ein hashviyis min aminyan. Then the shviyis is not part of the count because the shviyis year is a year that he cannot do any work, right? And therefore he has to give him an additional year to make up for the year that he should be able to work the field and eat potatoes. No, before he didn't. Before he said a unit of 7 years, he didn't specify the here he said sheva shonim of corresponding each year, meaning he made it the mashmois or the lashon 7 years of work. Okay. Zok the Mishnah weiter schir yoim, a poil that was hired to do malacha for a day, and he finishes by evening. Geiva kol halayla. His time for collecting his money is the whole night. Schir laila, a poil that works at night. Geiva kol hayoim. Then he collects the whole day after he finishes work at night, so he has the whole day to collect. Schir shoyes. Somebody who works just for a couple of hours, and he doesn't work till the end of the day or till the end of the night. Goiva kol halayla v'kol hayom. Either the Gemara will explain what does it mean kol halayla v'kol hayom. Really, it means he works a couple hours of the day, so he collects. He has the rest of the day to collect, or if he works a couple of hours of the night, and he has the rest of the night to collect. The Gemara will explain that. Schir Shabbos, somebody who rented it for 7 days, for a week, or schir chodesh for the month, schir shana, or he rented for the year, or schir shavua for 7 years. Yotza by yom, if he finishes malacha by day, meaning that he's at the beginning of the morning or throughout the whole course of the day, then he has the whole day to collect. Yotza b'layla, if he finished the malacha at the beginning of the night, then goiva kol halayla v'kol hayom. Then he can collect the whole night and the day after, because the day is part of the night. We're going to learn about this. Now, Tana Rabbana, the Rabbana am gelent na braisa. And from where do we know the schir yoim shagoiva kol halayla? How do we know that a schir yoim gets to collect his money the whole night? So the Yimanu Talmud Lane, it says in the pasuk, lo yisolim piulas sachi itcha ad habika. One shouldn't let the night go through the reward of his worker, the schar, the money that he has to pay his worker. He shouldn't leave it with him, the balabais, till the morning. In other words, he should pay him. Meaning, if he was a schir yoim, he should pay him in the night. To tell you, there's a isalav, there are 5 lavin, and there's one asay that he's over.
Can you say that he has a whole night?
It's not only one. We're going to see there are many yisurim involved. How do we know the schir yoim? Somebody was hired for the night that he collects the whole day. Shenema, like it says in the pasuk, b'yoimoi titin schari. In the day he should get paid his schar, and he shouldn't wait till the sun goes down. Lo yisavei alav Hashem. That's the end of the pasuk. In fact, say just the opposite. Say for schir laila, he has to pay him. Somebody who's hired to do the work at night. So in the time that he's working that's the time to pay him, the night till the morning. And for Scheyayim, say the pshat is that you have to pay him in the day. He's hired to do the work in the day while he's doing the work. That's the time he's supposed to be paid till the end of the day.
Pay him when he's in the middle of work.
Oh, so the Gemara says, when it comes to paying a person, he doesn't get paid only after he finishes the work. And that's why it has to mean Scheyayim, at the end of his work, when it comes the time to pay him, that's when you're supposed to pay a person. So then night is the time for the payment. Somebody works through the night, and he finishes the work at the end of the night, so then the day is the time to pay him. That's the Pashto Pshat, and that's how we learn that from the Psukim. The Gemara is adding other pratim isurim. It says from this that it says lo yisolin pulas sachi itcha. You shouldn't let the schar, the wages of the worker, be with you through the night. Any day ad abayka. Why does he have to say ad bayka? What is it? It says lo yisolin shouldn't go overnight, and you shouldn't hold the wages of the worker overnight. That means till the morning. So what does it have to say ad bayka? What is the words ad bayka coming to teach us? That he's not over on the Easter only if he waited, he let the whole night go through till the morning. That's when he's over on the Easter of Lo Yisrael.
After dawn,
then he's over on Lo Yisrael. Let's say he delays and he doesn't pay. What's going to be the din? He's over for delay. Rabbi Yosef said, "My kra, in which pasuk is there Adam is to this Easter of delaying?" So the Gemara answers, "Al don't tell your friend, leich v'shuv, go back and come back, umachet, and tomorrow I'll give you the money, v'yesh and you still have the money with you. So you're delaying him. In such a case, you're over the Baltasha on the Easter of the Baltasha, which is only a smachta. It's only the Rabbanan. Go out and hire me workers. And Shneyem ain't even mishum baltolin. Both side the shliach is not even baltolin, and side the person who this worker is working for is also not even baltolin if he doesn't pay him on time. Why? Let's take the balabayas. The worker is working for the balabayas. Why, if he pays him late, is he not over in loy salin? Because he didn't hire him himself, so therefore the poil is not considered his sachir. He has to hire himself. It has to become his sachir. It's the shliach who hired the sachir. Therefore, he's not going to be over. And the shliach, why is he not over? Because this wages is not upon him to pay. He's not working for him. In fact, what's the case talking about? If the shliach went ahead and told this worker, listen, work for this person, and the responsibility of the wages is upon me. Or he says the responsibility of the schar is upon the balabayas. Says the Gemara, nevertheless, the Tanya we learned in Abraham, so he wants to show you that he's going to be obligated to pay. The Tanya that we learned in Abraham, somebody who hired a worker, we had it before, in Aseichas Humnim, he hires a worker to do work for him. And then what happened? At the end he shows him the field of his friend to do work in the field of his friend. But he told him he's working for him. Even though he did the work for somebody else, but since he told him he's hiring him for himself and he put him in somebody else's field, this person who hired him is responsible because he took the responsibility. And then later on he can go to the balabayas and claim for the money that balabayas who had anah from this worker working his field, he can demand from the balabayas, pay me for the anah.
The same amount?
If we learned in the Gemara, if it's beneficial for him, he has to pay him the full amount. It was a machlokes, but at the end the Gemara said that he has to pay him the full amount. That's what we learned before. If it's a field made for trees and the trees does give off fruits, then he should pay him. So Gemara leitzicha the amalahu was chartem balabayis. So then Gemara answers, no. What he did was he said to them, the shliach said to the workers, your wage, the responsibility of your wage is upon the balabais who you're going to work for. Now the balabais never said it. So since the shliach, he's not working for the shliach, so the shliach is not over on loisolin, he's not working for him, and the balabais never hired him, that he should be responsible for the wages of loisolin, of being late.
But he's responsible to pay.
Yeah, he has to pay him, but on loisolin he's not chayiv. Says the Gemara, ve'emin lahu schatan. 1 second, I'm sorry. Schatan abalabais. Yehuda ben Merema amalei l'shamoy. Yehuda ben bar Merema said to his shamish, Zil agili poyelim, go ahead and hire me some workers. And tell these workers that the responsibility is upon me. And now we know he's not going to be Oiva and Balsolin. That's why he hired workers. That was the whole gimmick behind it, that he shouldn't be Oiva if he pays late. Merema, it's not that he didn't want to pay. He wanted to pay, but he was afraid if he will be late.
Everybody should do that.
Oh yeah, that's what happened.
That's what you avoid.
Umerema, Umazuta had it like a treaty. Agru lahadad, each one hired for the other one workers, so that they shouldn't be mushal in being oiba on the isa of loisalin. He says those people of Surah that they don't have money in their hands, they have to wait for the market to get money. So those people, what did they do? If they hired workers and they didn't pay the workers till the night
they don't
after,
have any money till they get
they're not going to be Yoiva and Baltolim. Why? Made the Yoidi. These workers know that they're relying on the money that they're going to get from the
Yemashuk.
Huh? They don't have, because the workers know that they don't have money. They're not getting paid till the Yemashuk, when that's when he accumulates money. But because of not delaying, if he's not going to pay him when he has the money, and he still delays him, and he says, "I'll pay you later," then he's over baltasha for delay. We brought it the pasuk before. Rav Yosef says, "Where's the pasuk?"
He says he's not paying.
He's not. The day of the market came, he's still not paying him. He delayed him, so he's over for baltasha. It said in the Mishnah that a person who's hired for hours, he collects the night and the day. Rav said, "Schir shoys the yoim, goiva kol yahayim." A schir of somebody was hired to do work in the day, right? So if somebody was hired to do the work for a couple of hours of the day, so he has the rest of the day to collect his money. Schir shoys the laila. Somebody was only hired for a couple of hours in the night. Goiva kol laila. That rest of the night, once he finishes work, there's still many hours. After he finishes the work, many hours of the night, those are the hours that he should go collect.
But the owner's sleeping already,
Okay, if he hired him to do the work for a couple hours, he's probably there. It's like it says, like we learned in the metzia-daf, someone who wants to lose his money, he should hire workers. So obviously he's being mashgiach on him. Shmuel says schir shoyis the yoim. A schir shoyis somebody who was only hired for a couple hours of the day. Goiva kol hayom. So after the hours of the couple hours he's working, he has the rest of the day to collect his money. Schir shoyis the laila. Somebody was hired only for a couple hours in the night. Goiva kol halayla ve kol hayom. Why? Why hayom halayla? Because the laila is part of the next day. So the yom is connected to the laila. That's why he gets to collect the night and the day. Tanan. In fact, the Gemara on the sheet of Rav, it says schir shoyis. It says he collects the whole night and the day, and Rav says there's no such a thing a night and a day. Rav said that the yom is only the day, the rest of the day. The laila is only that night. It's Shmuel who said the one who's a schir of the night gets the rest of the night plus the day after. But according to Rav, look, it says in the Mishnah, how does that fit with Rav? It never happens that he should collect the night and the day. He says only the day or only the night. He never includes the day with the night. To Yufta the Rav is Akash and Rav for now Mishnah. And the Rav is going to answer you. Litzdadin Katani. The Mishnah is talking about two separate cases in these words. He says like this: Schir shoyis the yoim goiva kol hayoim. he collects the rest of the day. Schir shoyis the laila, goiva kol laila. That's how he breaks the lashon. When it says schir shoyis goiva kol laila kol hayom, he means it's two cases. There's a schir shoyis that he collects the rest of the day, and then there's a schir that's a schir shoyis yom, and then when it says kol laila is talking about a schir shoyis of the night. He worked. He worked
what
on
Rav
a couple.
says. So what's pshat?
Yeah, but Rav, we asked on Rav, but in the Mishnah it says Chir Shoyis Gava Kol Halal Kol Hayom.
And Yom also.
It sounds like so he says it's not an. It's a separate case. The Kol Hayom is referring to a Chir Shoyis of the Yom.
So what? But it says after Laila. It says he's going to call a Laila.
The Kol Hayom. So he said the Kol Hayom. He says Litzdadin. You have to break it up. It's two separate cases. Kol Halayla is a Chir Shoyis of the Laila. The Kol Hayom is a Chir Shoyis of the Yom.
No, so it's not a stira.
It's not a stira. It's not a stira. He fits it in the words.
Mishnah agrees to with Rav.
That's how he's learning.
Okay.
So now we learned that in the Mishnah. Hayis Shabbos. If he rented it for a week or a month.
He was hired for a week.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He was a worker for a week, right? A worker for a month. He was hired for the years. For 7 years. If he goes out by day, he collects the whole day. If he finishes the work by night, he collects the night and the day. So what is Rav going to answer on this end of the Mishnah? The words of the end of the Mishnah contradicts.
Give him extra time.
Rav says it's either night or day, but not night and the day. Rav is going to say it's nishkin stira. Tanoi, it's a machlokes of Tanoi Mechlal. The Tan that we learned in the Mishnah, Abraisa. Schir shoyis the Yom, Geiva Kol Hayom. Schir shoyis the Laila, Geiva Kol Laila to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says like Rav. I'm sorry. Rav says like Rabbi Yehuda that a Schir shoyis only collects the rest of the day, and a Schir Laila only collects the rest of the night, but not the day after. Rabbi Shimon Oima, the other Tana says Rabbi Shimon says Schir shoyis the Yom, Geiva Kol Hayom. A Schir shoyis of the day collects the rest of the day. Schir shoyis the Laila. So that's the Shimon, but
So
it's not a Kasha and Rav. And the Mishnah that says that he's Geiva Kol Hayom is going according to Rab Shimon. Is following Rab Shimon.
Why do you have to say before we learn this Dodim? You could have said this to that. It's a machlokes.
Oh yeah, you could answer that's a machlokes. That's you should be able to answer that as well.
Why didn't it say before?
Because before it was you were able to say Litzdadin. And you could follow. It could go lekuli alma.
Over here you can't say it.
Here you already can't say it's lekuli alma.
Okay.
Mekan amru says the Gemara from here. The Chacham said kol hakevis chasachir over b'chamisha shemes. Somebody who withholds the wages of a worker, he's over on 5 isuri labn. Halalo these v'asei and also nasei, and these are they. Bi mishum loy sasha keseyacha or bal. The pasuk is loy bal sasha keseyacha. You shouldn't oppress your friend. Mishum bal is loy sigzel. The loy sigzel. Because bal means the loy sigzel. You should not gazel. Mishum bal tashik sacher ani. That's so far we said 1, 2, 3. Mishum bal talin. Pulas sachir itchad beika. Mishum beyoymei titan schari. That's the asay. And the next lav is mishum loy sava alav hashemesh. You shouldn't let the sun go.
What's the Xela? He's going to pay him, but just
we're going to explain what the Xela is in a second. Zog the Gemara, Hani the Ikabi Yibama Lake Melayilya. Says the Gemara, how could you say the Balabais is able on all these sort of one shot? You have people who are day workers, and you have people who are night workers. So you can't be Mechayiv Little Mashal when it says Aschir Yom, it says Loi Solin Pula Sachi Oisiad Baker. That's not referring to Aschir Laila, it's referring to a schir yom, right? It's a schir laila. It doesn't apply to. He can be lalia, like can be your mama. And those yisurim that is by schir laila, like it says, beyoymai titin scharei v'loy savei alav Hashem. In the day he should get paid. He has the whole day to get paid, and before the sun goes down, that doesn't apply to schir yom because the schir yom doesn't get his payment till the night. So not paying him the day he's not ava iser. That is he's not being ava for somebody who's a schir yoim. And for the Gemara, Amar Av Chizda answered, Shem schidus ba'oma. He didn't mean to say over on all of them one shot. He says, but again, to schidus there are 60 sudim. Okay? Okay, Zakti Yamada, and there are some that apply to schil. I learned some to schil.
He says,
Kol HaKovesh, but he's not saying he's over on all 6 at one time.
It's depends.
That's one answer, and then at the end he said it's a machlekes of Tanaim, and the Mishnah follows up Shimon, who says the Laila v'Yom. Okay, Izahu Oishek. What is Oishek? Izahu Gazel, and what's Gzela? Zakti Yamada, Amar Rav Chizda. Rav Chizda explained that the Balabayis agrees that he's going to pay his payah leich v'shuv, but he tells him, go and come back, I'll pay you later. He's just leich v'shuv. He keeps on telling him, go, I'll come back. Go, come back. Zeu Eishik. That's oppressing the worker for his wages.
You got to listen to your worker right away. As soon as he says pay me, you got to pay him. Or you can
that's the halacha. That's the halacha. We're going to get to it. I'm going to say, Yesh lecha biyodi, ve'ini noisen lecha, zeu gazel. He says, I have money, but I'm not giving you. That's gzela.
That's enough in a
gazel. Maskal Rav Sheishes. Rav Sheishes is the kasha. Zeu Eishik shechidu alav v'teira v'karben, which is the Eishik that the Torah was mechayiv a person that carbon shvua because he was oshak. Says you want to do me the pikadon. It has to be Eishik, which is daima to pikadon by daima to kfiras pikadon, daima to denying in a pikadon, which is said in that same pasha. The kakafa le'mamayna there by pikadon, he's being kaifa, he's denying the money that he's saying I don't owe you. He says I don't owe you. So only in such a case of kfiras mamain, that's where we make him swear. That's where we make him swear to pot himself, but not in a place where he's made. He says, "I owe you." In such a case, it's not shaykh to say he should swear that he swears if he's denying, but not if he's agreeing. And you're saying here he agrees, "I owe you money. I'm not paying you." There's no shvur there. No, gazel. Yes, the
Carbon only with a
shvur. Yeah, carbon shvur. The Kabbalah Shvur is only for Kfira, but he's not denying. He says, by Gazel, he said, I had Yesh L'cha B'yadi, but nevertheless, I'm not giving it to you. And he says, Zeu Gazel. How could it be Gazel? How could that be the Gzela upon which you're chayiv a Shvur's carbon? Shvur's carbon is only on denial. Elam Rav Sheishes, he says, Nesativ Lach. No, what he's saying, the Balabai says to the worker, I already paid you. Right? So Zeu Oishek, no, that's the case of Oishek. He says, I already paid you. He says, I have in my hand, but I'm not giving it to you. That's Gazel.
Before.
1 second. No, he's explaining Oishek. The kasha was on Oishek. How could Oishek be Yesh leich v'shuv is leich v'shuv? He's agreeing that he has the money. The kasha was on Oishek. You said Oishek is similar. In the pasuk it says that a person swears a kabbalah shvur for being Oishek as chaveirei. Right? So how could you call that Oishek is just delaying, telling him to go back? He admits he owes the money. It's not shy. There's no admission. In order to be chayv a carbon, he has to be denying. It has to be kfiras mamein. It has to be similar to a pikadon. So the Gemara Rav Sheishes answers, Oishek means he's denying. He said, I gave it to you already. But what's Gazel? He's still sticking to Gazel. Yesh lecha b'yadi, ve'einei noisen lach zeu Gazel. I have it in my hand, but I'm not giving it to you.
What reason? No reasoning?
Yeah. So, but says Gemara, again, the Gemara is going to ask now. Abai is going to ask. It has to be doimel lepikadon. It has to be denial. By the Gzela, you're saying befedish, he's agreeing I have the money, but I'm not giving to you. He agrees he owes the money. Maskal Abaya, ezeu Gazel shechid alav teira kadmen, doing it to pikadon b'ina. The kakaflei b'meinai. It has to be similar to Pekadin that he's denying in the money. So if so, is the kasha?
His testimony.
Here he's being made that he owes the money. He's just not paying him. Elam Abaya says Abaya lois chaticha me olam zeu Oishek. Oishek is a case that he says I never hired you as my worker,
and if I don't know
you, and nesativ loch, he says I already paid you zeu Gazel. That's Gzela. Rav Sheishes, Maishna Oishek, the Kashile, but according to Rav Sheishes, that was Abaya's pshat. But Rav Sheishes said, what's Gzela? Yesh lecha b'yad ve'einei leisen lach. So according to Rav Sheishes, Maishna Gazel Deloi Kashile, Why wasn't there kasha to Rav Sheshes on Gazel? Abaye answered well, that Gazel he's denying. He said, I already paid you. But according to Rav Sheshes, he says, Yesh l'cha biyadi, I'm not giving it to you. So how do you answer? It has to be similar to Bekadin, that he has to deny. He has to deny that he doesn't owe any money.
That he paid him already. That's Gezel.
Who says that? That's Abaye, but not Rav Sheshes. What are you going to answer for Rav Sheshes' pshat? So he's going to. Rav Sheshes is going to answer you. Gazel, the gazle that he stole, the hada kafle. The Torah was mechayim makom shvur for what? When he came to Bezdin. To begin with, he robbed the worker, right? He says, I'm not paying you. Then when he brought him to Bezdin, he says in Bezdin, I don't owe him. And he denied everything. When the Poyel gave, he said, I don't owe him. And he swore that he doesn't owe him. So Gezel means that before he came to Bezdin, he stole, and he said, in front of him, and then when he came to Bezdin, he denied the whole story. I don't know.
He said, I'm like, showed him name. He didn't show him proof that I owe you or something.
That's not the case, but he says, first he agreed that he stole from him, and then when he came to Bezdin, he denied the whole story. He says, I don't owe him nothing.
Above myself.
Yeah. So if the kavanah of the pasuk is that he's goyzom etchila and then he's makish the chayv in Bezdin, afilu oishik nami. Even by Oishik, he could do the same thing. That what? He could say, you could explain that he pushed him off. He said, lech v'shuv, lech v'shuv. He said, I have the money, but come back later. And then when he came to Bezdin, the hadar coffee. And then after, when they brought him to Bezdin, he denied the chiyuv, and he tied it that he doesn't owe him anything.
That's the Gzela.
And that's the he's saying, just like by Gzela, he admitted, he says, I have the money, I'm not paying you. Then when he came to Bezdin, he said he denied the whole thing, he doesn't owe. So the Gemara is asking, say the same thing for Oishik. He first told him, Leich v'shuv, and then go and come back, I'll pay you later, and he never pays him. That's why she's oppressing him. When he comes to Bezdin, he brings him to Bezdin, he denies the whole thing. Why can't we learn the pshat just like you learned on Gzela? Says the Gemara, Hachi Hashta, could you then compare? It makes sense over there in the pasuk v'chichish ba'misa, it says, Oy begazel, meklal, the oy de lei meikara. It says that he's going to deny in his friend Oy begazel in a topic of Gzela that they had before that he admitted he stole, and then when he brought him to Bezdin, the chichish, he denied him the whole thing. So there it makes sense on Gzela to say there was originally a Gzela, and then when he came to the Bezdin, he denied the whole thing. It doesn't say Be'eshek.
Isn't it both Gzela?
Both Gzela, but here's the Lashon. He says, Lech should go and come back, I'll pay you.
That's not denying.
It's right, but at the end, when he came and brought him to Bezdin, he denies. Says the Gemara, you can't say that Oishik was a case that he told Lech v'shuv, and then when he brought him to Bezdin, and he denied it. That's not mashma from the mashmois of the Lashon of the pasuk. From the Lashon of the pasuk, when it said v'chichish ba'amisa oy begazel, that's connected. The denying was on the topic that originally he said he stole it, and then when he brought him to Bezdin, v'chichish ba'amisa, he denied the whole story. But be'oishik, the Torah doesn't write that way, as the v'chichish ba'amisa is connected to the oishik. It says oy oshak, like a new case, nothing connected with v'chichish ba'amisa. So the shashaki kvar. It's not talking about. It has to be that there was lechatchila a denial upon which he swore, because it wasn't the chichish ba'misei on oshak. Oshak is a new case, a case of its own. Rava Amar zehu oishik zehu gazel. Rava gives a new pshat. He says oishik and gizela are the exact same thing. Why did the Torah divide it? To tell you that he's going to be over on 2 lavin.
That's the reason.
That's the reason for that he separated it.
Why does the Torah want him to be over on 2 lavin?
Why is that? Okay. Zag the Gemara.
If you don't pay, you get 2 lavin.
Okay. Yeah.
2 pay.
Zag the Gemara. Echet schar adam.
Which one would you rather? Go to court or get to life?
You made a whole big deal.
Okay, we'll start the Mishnah. We're short in time. Echad schar adam sai schar wages that a person is supposed to get as a worker. Echad schar behema sai his behema that he leased out to do work. Echad schar kelim sai he gave tools. Yesh bay mishum b'yayim titun schare. There is the Easter that he has to. It has to be the chiyuv of the yom on the same day. He has to give him the schar. And also on behema and kalim, in addition to Adam, there's also the Easter of withholding the wages with till the morning. A Masai, when do these isurim? When are these isurim applicable? Bisman shetva'ei, when the worker demanded from the balabayis that pay me, but if he didn't demand his wages, ain't over love. He's not going to be over. The balabayis won't be over on loisalim. So Gemara himchohu if the balabayis himchohu eitzach heavenly oy eitzach. If the balabayis transferred it to the storekeeper.